guys, this is Tara.
And I'm Heather, and welcome to the first episode of the JeepHer Show. We have our drinks tonight.
Yeah.
Cheers.
This is so
Whatever
weird, though,
drinking
because I'm so used to Instagram. So, like, viewing this platform is
Right?
different because you can't see, like, who's watching. You can't see any of that. So, for all I know, it's just us. But so, if you are there watching, please give a comment, say hello, because you have a chance to win a JeepHer's gear box. So, let us know you're there and say hi.
Yeah, anybody that puts in a comment in our comment box today, we're going to try to answer you back. We're going to try to talk to you guys too, but you're also in winning for some fun prizes. So be social. Let's talk. Let's hang out. So I want to introduce Tara. This is Tara from Virago Jeep, JKU. And we're going to get ourselves introduced to Tara first, and we're going to hear her story on how she got into Jeeping and off-roading.
Actually, it was really spontaneous. Like one of those, what do you call them? What did my mother-in-law call it? What did I tell you she calls it? Midlife crisis. That's what they said. But no, I got a Jeep and I never knew you could off-road them. I thought she was perfect the way she was. I didn't want to touch a single thing on her until, of course, Instagram. And I seen that like some, like yourself, that's how I found you, these off-roaders and what they could do in their Jeeps. And I just really wanted to try. And I didn't know anybody, not a single person I knew off-road or had a Jeep. So we literally drove to Roush Creek the second weekend they opened up after COVID and sat in the parking lot for an hour trying to find another group that looked like they were doing green trails because I was completely stocked. And we saw this cute puppy pull up in a Tacoma, and I was like, green trails, because it was like, it looked stock, but I didn't know it had skid plates and everything. But his name was Matt, and he introduced us to Kyle, and they said, sure, we can wheel with them, which are the Appalachian Off-Road Alliance. And I was so nervous. I remember that just because like I didn't know anything or anyone. I didn't know if I'd look stupid. I was worried about breaking my Jeep. I didn't know what I was getting into, to be honest. And so we started doing it. I had to be really smart picking lines. It was like a rush. And it was actually my daughter's 18th birthday too. But we pulled down this ravine. We went backwards on Trail 11. It was a little bit washed out. And we turned down. I'll never forget this moment because we went down like this. Literally, Haley could touch the ground. Yeah. And my husband was like, Tara, just gun it. And I'm like, I did it. I hit the throttle. We like wheeled out, but we got to the bottom and everybody said to us, you almost rolled. Like, they're like, you really almost rolled. Are your sway bars connected? And I'm like, what the hell's a sway bar? And they were like, oh my gosh. And so like, they all like went under my Jeep and disconnected them and stuff. And, you know, I learned something that day, but at that moment I was like, whoa, I thought you could only get an adrenaline rush from going really fast. I used to make fun of off-roading. My husband off-roaded for years in Broncos. And I'm like, that's so stupid. It's so slow. It's, you know, but I was in love, but my poor daughter said she'll never do it again. But yeah, from that point on, I became obsessed. I wanted to do harder things and learned that it's good to start in a stock Jeep. I'm so thankful I did. But, you know, when you're going over some of those rocks and stuff and you're hitting things, you know, skid plates are important. Clearance is nice to have. It's a luxury. And good tires. So, you know, it's just a nice little step the way up.
Yeah.
Lockers would be nice, but one day.
You're coming, girl.
That's the next luxury. But
once you get lockers, it's just gonna like your world is gonna explode. You're gonna be like, haha, that was so easy compared to last time. You're gonna get yourself into more precarious situations. The more you upgrade, the more you'll find that you're like, yeah, look what I can do now.
And that's exciting though. That's what's great about I think building your build from stock on up is you get to look forward to that and you get to grow in skill and seat time because like I told you, like when I went over, you know, this past weekend to that spot, just because I went up it didn't mean I could go down it. I was looking at it and it was sketchy. And my instincts were saying, Tara, no. Even with lockers, I don't think I could do that. I think I need more seat time and skill to really, because I mean, to turn down at an angle like that straight, it's
you rely on like more articulation at that point to level you out as you go down.
Yeah. How about you? What got you into wheeling?
So Up until October, Rogue was a lease. Not a lot of people know that. So I was like frame chopping and swapping
Well,
tons and
I
putting a
feel better
cage
with my
in.
monthly payments now.
Yeah. Well, it turned out because I had a Kia Optima before. I wasn't really into cars. My dad was a mechanic growing up, and I kind of scoffed at it. He taught me enough to change some spark plugs, some part brakes, change out like things here and there, but nothing like too crazy. So I was just like, whatever, dad. And then I got a Jeep because I had two Great Danes and I literally was in an Optima. Like there was nowhere for anybody to go. My dog's butt would be out one window and his head would be out the other, and I couldn't put two of them in one car. So I actually went to go look at a Grand Cherokee because my friend had one. It had tons of space. And then my husband goes over to the Wrangler and he's like, "This one's more fun." And I go, "What do you mean fun? Like, how is it more fun?" And he goes, "Well, you can take the top off." And he's like, "We could like go on the beach." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that sounds like fun." I'm in New York. That's 2 months out of the year. Like, we don't do that. So I was like, "All right, sounds fun." Well, I brought it to work, and my client, whose husband was a part of one of our local Jeep groups, she goes, "Oh, you have to join all the Jeep pages." And I was like, "There's Jeep pages? People like Jeeps?" And she's
I
like,
know, right? Who knew?
"Yeah." She looked at me so dumbfounded, like, "Yes, people like Jeeps." And I was like, "Oh, so there's like some people online like support groups and stuff?" And she goes, "No, there's like an entire industry around Jeeps." I was like, "Oh, okay." So I joined my local Jeep group, and then it took me 6 months of begging them for a trip to go off-roading because I've seen a
6
couple of
months.
videos.
Oh,
Six
wow.
months. I got my Jeep in
Wow.
October, and we went in March, and I was like chomping at the bit to go off-roading because it just looked like fun to me. It was like, yeah,
Oh,
let's go run over
yeah.
some rocks, let's get in some mud. And we went, and it was snowfall. So my first wheeling trip was a snow wheeling trip, which
Oh,
is
it's
not
very different.
fun. Yeah, it's not fun if you don't know what you're doing, but it's also a lot of fun if you don't know what you're doing. Because they got me on a black trail my first day off-roading, completely
No
stuck,
freaking
and I had
way.
no idea. But it
Completely
helped me,
stuck.
yeah, it helped me to see the line though, because you could see where to put
The
your tires
snow.
without,
Yeah.
yeah, and I was brand new to it, so they were like, "You're gonna be really thankful that you did this in the snow." So I was like, okay, so we were on Snakebite at Roush Creek, which is a black, and I'm
I
just like,
never
la da
did
da da
snake bait.
da.
Yeah.
Go. Oh, we're taking you. We're going. You totally got it. I did it. I did it stock on my first trip. You can do this, and just don't let all the jagged rocks scare you. So we get through it, and I was like, that was really fun. And they were like, yeah. I was hooked. I was trying to go every other week after that, and then we upgraded the axle, wheels, tires, and then I think not even a year after off-roading, we had done the whole ton build and everything like that because I was like, I need more. I got quickly addicted, and I see
Ah,
why there's an entire community and why there's all these groups because it really is a different kind of life and it's a really different kind of community. Like, I've never gone into a hobby and had so many people willing to help and
oh
explain
yeah.
and take me out and encourage, and it was just
And
it
it's
was just such a
fulfilling.
good vibe. Yeah, it
It
is. It's
is
so
so
satisfying.
fulfilling to see, like, well, one, I never realized I thought Jeeps honestly were for beaches. Like my friend Matt lives at the beach and that's all you see is like these, and there's nothing wrong with that. I would love to take my Jeep to a beach and just sit there at the water. Don't get me wrong. But I never realized the extent of what they can do even in a stock. And to me, like when you do something like that and you get through it, it just builds this confidence, and it's really empowering and exciting. And
Yeah.
I just so love it. Like it's just so much fun.
And
But
then when you find someone that has a Jeep, are you not sitting there going, you have to go off-roading? like,
oh
like
yeah, like
all the time.
I carry JeepHer and JeepHer stickers in my glove box. I kid you not. We were at a restaurant, or no, a gas station. I'm sorry. And I seen this Jeep, right, getting gas, but the owner wasn't there. And she comes walking out as a chick, and I'm like watching her. She walked to her Jeep, and I like, hey, do you want a sticker? She's like, yeah, I just got my Jeep, and I'm like, well, here
Oh,
you go. Look us up, and I think it's a lot of fun taking women out or men, anyone really, that never off-roaded and that are, nervous or even starting blue trails. Just like I recently started black trails and, you don't know what you're getting into. So you do get an adrenaline rush, but when you take someone out for their first time onto a trail, you get that. It's like giving back. Like you feel good about it. And it's exciting to see like that spark and love and joy light up in
yeah,
their face. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like it's just,
It's
but
weird. I feel like a pusher sometimes because I'm like, you want to try something? Knowing they're gonna get addicted, knowing they're gonna spend a lot of money, and knowing they're always gonna want to do it. But I'm like, you got to do it anyway, man. It's just the best rush ever.
It is so much fun. And that's like what we talked about our introductions here. And that's what the JeepHer Show is all about. Really, that's the heart of it and what we want. We want to really encourage women to challenge themselves. If they've never been off-roading and they're intimidated to start, you start somewhere. All of us have. If you're like a seasoned wheeler, I mean, you never stop learning. I mean, Heather, you're proof. You never stop learning. But you still have...
I've only been off-roading 3 years. I'm still learning so much.
That's what I mean. I feel like you can spend a lifetime off-roading and still learn because there's different terrains, there's different builds. You can rebuild your Jeep again to do something else, like King of Hammers type shit. Like, that'd be so much fun.
Yeah,
anyway.
And trails change all the time. Yeah. What did you say?
Oh, every
Trail
time.
11 was washed out. They change all the time, so you never know what you're coming up against. You could go out to Roush Creek, and you've probably been there more times than I have. You're there every weekend. And you could go over that same trail again and be like, oh, that's different. Or that wasn't there. Oh, this is a harder climb now. Or where'd that rock come from? And it's so different every time.
Yep, I agree. And I've seen actually, I mean, now I'm not doing the like reds. I've only just started blacks. I can't test to that. But I have seen people break windshields out, break their axle shafts, like almost flip over and roll. Like, you know what I mean? One of my closest friends off-roading, his daughter almost got decapitated on the night before his wedding because they got married at Roush Creek. I mean, like, so it's different. It happens. There's a real danger. I mean, and these are all things that we're going to like designate episodes to, like going over, whether it's going to be on winches, which I don't have one yet, but I'm going to get one. Or if it's
no,
like...
you're right. But safety and recovery stuff is so important because it will save lives out there if you do it right.
Do you know my first time I saw a winch being used? Did I tell you that story?
No, but can I tell everyone a story right now involving Tara? So me and Tara were on the Great American Crawl out at Roush Creek, and my buddy Alex he got literally stuck between a rock and a hard place. He got wedged between a tree and he had to winch. So Tara yells out to me, she goes, "What's that line?" And I'm like, "That's the remote for the winch." And she goes, "What's that?"
I didn't know what the remote was.
I'm like, "That's the winch." So we need to get this girl a winch because one, that's very impressive that you haven't had to take out a winch yet, as much wheeling as you've been doing. That's so impressive. I've winched left and right. You'll see one of my friends on Instagram. Anytime there's a picture of me, he's like, "Did you have to winch? Did you have to winch?" He's always talking about me winching. There's no shame in it, but safety and having a winch on your Jeep, especially since you're starting out blacks now, you're gonna want that not just for your recovery, but I can tell you I've used my winch more for other people than for anything else. So we're gonna cover safety topics. We're gonna cover technique topics. We're gonna talk about repairs. We're gonna talk about everything know, one-stop shop, everything.
Well, and I've seen a winch before. It's not very often. Like on that, I didn't know they had like remotes. To be honest, that's what I was talking about there. But my first time actually seeing a winch, they didn't actually follow safety protocol, which I didn't know because I only went to the ASL recovery class afterwards.
Yeah.
But they're winching my friend Kyle. We were snow wheeling, and you know how the snow blends? Well, there was a washout on the trail and it was a complete drop cliff. So he stopped beforehand. It was really kind of sketchy. Like I couldn't even walk down to get it on camera, but he stopped. We needed to use 2 Jeeps, one recovery shaft, another winch. And I'm all excited, I'm like, yeah, I'm getting my camera out. I'm like trying to pay attention to what they're doing to learn, And finally, someone says, "Tara," I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Did you ever see Final Destination?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?" It was the steel cable. Yeah. They said if that breaks, it's cutting right through you. I'm like, "What? That can break?" He's like, "Yeah." And I didn't know where to hide then, but they didn't put any, what is that called? The thing that goes on top?
The tree savers?
No, not the tree saver. The other thing. I can never remember it. Sometimes people throw a shirt over it. You can buy one that hangs off of it.
Yeah. I call it a safety sleeve.
No, it begins with an S, but yeah, that'll work. The safety sleeve.
I call it the safety sleeve. Somebody else on the trail called it the winch condom once, but.
And I've told everybody several times, I told a lot of people, I think, foreplay, a little bit of wheeling. I even think I told Nick, Gridlock, that, I don't need a winch yet. Like, I can't afford one while I'm building up the under part, these other things. And my friends have winches. And honestly, the trails we were doing, you know what I mean? But when we led at the Great American Crawl on that Trail 35, okay, that is the first time it like that light bulb, went off, because we worked really hard getting up that. And if I couldn't get up
You went up 35?
yes.
I've gone up
I was
35
the
and
only
down
one without
35.
lockers. Even
Down
the
35
people
is
with
easy.
lockers.
Up is hard.
Oh no, it was hard. And I mean, I came really close to trees and and I didn't have lockers, but I was sitting there thinking, man, like if I needed winched up, somebody's gonna have to back down, go all the way around, come and get, because there's no way they're getting up there to help me.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah, we just
It's
went off on
definitely
a
nice
trail.
to have. We'll throw winches on our list. Also, guys, if you're listening and there's topics that you want us, boom. If there's topics that you want us to cover, like we were just talking about, I wasn't calling Tara out for not knowing what a winch is. I'm saying we're all learning. So if there's things that you don't know, ask. There's no silly questions, no silly like stories, nothing that we won't sit there, because all we want to do is sit and talk off-roading with you guys. So the more we can help you, send us questions, DM us, hey, this would be a great topic, or oh, I was wondering about this. I'm not going to call anybody out and say this person doesn't know what this is. No, we're going to cover all the topics because we want you to be as empowered as you possibly can be to go on the road and have fun like we have, because we don't want you missing out on stuff just because, well, what about this and what about that? Now we got you covered. Let's go off-roading. Let's hit it.
The other thing that our goal with this whole podcast is, and it's actually very near and dear to both Heather and my hearts, as well as a lot of other ones. We really want to encourage ladies to get hands-on with their builds, whether it's minor, little, or big. From day one, once I off-roaded, I told my husband, I want to learn everything and I want to do everything and I need you to teach me. And the poor guy has been doing an amazing job on that. But I am not exactly easy to teach, because I'm like, like my dad raced and tried teaching me, but I had zero interest, like cleaning pistons, whatever. It's different when you don't care. But now that I do care, as some of you might see me hitting a hammer, I'm like, it might take me a half an hour to do something he can do in 5 minutes, but I'm just determined to learn and grow and get better. But it builds a confidence, and I think it truly helps you on the trail, because if you need to do something or help somebody, you'll be armed to do it. It builds a confidence, and just like getting up a rock that you didn't think you could. When you like change your oil for the first time, that feels really freaking amazing.
It does.
And so Heather and I have come up with, Heather, I should say, did this. This was her idea, and I love it. The JeepHer challenge. Do you want to explain it, dear?
So what we're going to do is we might try to do it every month. We might try to just sort it in there quarterly. We'll see how it ends up getting response and how you guys end up with it. But we want to get you guys to challenge yourselves. We want to have you have fun doing it, feel that you're supported doing it. We're definitely going to give you guys like a how-to and everything before we just send you out into the world and say, go do this. But we want you guys to tag us. We're going to get you guys prizes for participating. We're going to feature you on accounts. We're going to get you guys, we want you guys to feel confident in knowing what to do with your Jeep. So it could be something as simple as, this is how you take your doors off. Did you take your doors off or put them, we'll probably do put them back on before the season's over. And we want you guys to set up a camera, time lapse it, take a picture, do whatever you want. But we want you to get your hands a little dirty and have a little fun and see how empowering and how I felt like when I started doing my own stuff, I had much more control over my vehicle. Like if if something goes wrong, I would just, for instance, I'm sorry if she's listening, but my sister, something went wrong on her car and she started panicking. And I'm like, oh, that's easy. You just do this and this and this. And I remember in my head thinking, wow, that was me like 4 years ago. Something went wrong on the Jeep. I was just panicking like, oh, how much is this going to cost me? And who's going to do it? And do I trust that person? Yeah, because it's me, and probably AutoZone. So I totally understand like what to do, and I feel so much more satisfied and empowered for doing so. And we're gonna get you guys out there doing that. So hopefully on the next podcast we'll have it set up for you guys where we can get you guys involved for this. But let's start building ourselves as a community and encouraging each other to do things that you're so capable of doing. You just don't know yet.
I couldn't have said it better myself. That's why I said for you. And what you don't know is everyone who does complete a challenge you're going to be entered into a drawing and you're going to win, I don't know, whatever we designate time, a hoodie. And I'll tell you now, JeepHer and JeepHer's hoodies, the quality is amazing. Like I love their quality. So, but we're, if you want a windshield or a sticker, let us know. We'll get that to you. But we're going to try to make it a lot of fun, like a lot of fun.
And if you're not going to do it for the empowerment, do it for the free prizes. Do it to help somebody else out, because you don't know who you're encouraging by telling your story or by telling, oh, I couldn't do this, but then I did. I had one of my friends come to me and she goes, I checked the tire pressure for the first time when I got home, and I was like, you did? And she goes, well, you're telling me about your power tank, and I never thought to have an idea of where my air pressure was at. And I was like, so proud of you. And she goes, yeah, they're all within the numbers that you said they should be. And I was very happy that I did it myself. And I was like, and see, it was something so small, but it made her day, and it made her feel so much more in control of her vehicle. Like, it was so cool.
And sometimes tire pressure, I tell you what, a year ago, that was like my enemy. I couldn't understand, because some people were like, they go down to 5, other people were at 15. And my husband said this, and I'm like, do I trust him? Can I go lower? Like, I feel bad saying that. Like, he gets really mad at me, but I want to learn for myself. I do my own research. Sometimes he thinks I'm not trusting him, but it's like, no, I want to learn. Here, I was like, oh, what are B blocks? Like, like winter, is it a difference? It was just, there was so much into the tire pressure thing. I think Instagram really helped me with that, because I just put up a post one day and I had so many people just so willing to help and comment, and it was super cool. But it is like a little bit of a science, it feels like. But now that I'm through it, I feel like it's straightforward. Like, it's nothing.
It's that intimidation hill, I'll call it. You get up to something and there's all this intimidation, like, how am I going to get up there? And then once you get up there and you gain all the knowledge, you gain all the skill, or you gain the technique, you're like, oh, this is a breeze, and you just coast right down it. It's like, that's what we want to get you over that first little speed bump on Intimidation Hill. And then you guys will be like, this is a breeze, I got it. And then we'll be seeing you out on the trails, and you'll be showing us stuff. It'll be awesome.
Yeah, because even like we've led quite a few trails now, like on groups for events and stuff. And the whole like back to the sway bar thing, I was definitely not alone in that. A lot of people, I don't know if they underestimate Roush and the actual like environment there, the terrain you're riding on, but they don't think they need to disconnect their sway bars. And they don't know, like, so simple things like that. It'd be great. Like when people go to off-road the first time, they can be armed with like air and down, disconnecting sway bars, roll of toilet paper,
Four low. Getting into four low is a thing a lot of people don't do. And they're like, no, I don't need 4 low. And I think it comes back to what you're saying. Like, they may not know how. And they're just like, no, I don't need it. But that can get you in trouble.
It can. And it's not good on your vehicle. Like,
no.
You want to take care of your investment.
You'll be upgrading very quickly if you don't put it into 4 low.
Just like
a little sooner than expected.
But yeah, so like, this is it, you guys. Like, this is what it's about.
Like, yeah.
Is there any questions? Any questions at all? I don't think we've had one.
I can't see the questions.
Heather cannot see them at all.
So read them off and yell at me. Well, whatever you need to do.
I don't have any questions. I say hello. You guys are inspirational from Alicia. Sandy said, new to this group. How is everyone? Hello. I cannot say your last 2 names, Sandy. I apologize. But I'm curious if you're Italian. And then JR said he had 3 full-size Broncos himself. And Paul's talking about
3
Broncos. Why are we talking Broncos, Paul and JR, like on the JeepHer?
I love Broncos, though.
I do too, actually.
Like a 55 Bronco? Oh, my goodness.
Oh, I love did you see that yellow Bronco that I took a picture in the one time? Like almost a year ago?
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. I was so jealous.
That would be my daily driver. And it's opposite. Like I would take that as a daily driver and Virago would get beast moded out, like off the road.
So I'm trying to do with Rogue. I'm trying to get like an old classic so that I can drive it for Rogue to take all the naps again.
Oh, she is Italian.
Oh, very
that's
nice.
Awesome.
Molto bene.
I have some questions for you, Heather, actually.
Oh no, I don't think I was prepared for your questions.
I know I come up with the craziest questions because like
Tara has like amazing questions for me, but I'm never prepared for them.
I think it'll be
All
just
right.
fine. I
Okay.
even wrote them down.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so everybody says trust your instincts. All right. Tell me about a moment where it was sketchy and your instincts kicked in and you learned to trust them.
I actually have this on video.
Don't surprise me.
I don't have it with you or with me right now. I didn't bring a clip with me. I was in Moab and we were coming up. I forgot what trail it was. I don't think it was Rusty Nail. It might have been one of the 3 connected with Rusty Nail. And I was coming up and you're on this rock that becomes like a ledge. And so if you go this way too much, you fall and roll. If you go this way too much, you fall and roll. So I had only been off-roading for a year and a month, my first time out in Moab. And everybody would tell me how you have to like I said, I was very new to this, how you have to like wiggle the wheel to find the line. So I was wiggling the wheel and not finding anything. And everybody is yelling at me. And I actually have on video like people high-fiving me as I'm coming out of this because I pulled it through like just perfectly. I was coming too far passenger, so I pulled it driver because I saw something that my tire could catch. And I knew I was way too close to that edge. But the fear in me said, logically, you'll grab that and go up. So instead of me just sitting there wiggling, going burr, 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 and like making that barking sound that the wheels do, I pulled onto that ledge. And before my rear tire could get over and off of that ledge, I swung the wheel back and pulled it beautifully out. It looked like there was somebody else driving because I don't know who was driving at that point, but my instincts took over and like people were high-fiving me. I'm like, what? It looked good because I can't, when you're driving, you can't see what's going on. I wish everything was invisible or I had like axle cams and stuff like that.
They're making cameras now though.
Yeah. So Alex, Total Chaos, he has one so he can see right underneath. It's not on his axle. I forgot where he has it mounted, but he has one for inside. I'm like, that's genius. And there's a company that actually does this. I used to know I think it's Red Peak, and they do a whole camera setup, and it's all right there on a monitor for you. But me pulling out of that moment and like knowing exactly where to go, that was just me being connected with the Jeep and just trusting that I kind of understood how the Jeep needed to go. And thankfully, because I spent so much time in my Jeep, it knew where it wanted to go. And I pulled out of it. I watched the video and I was like, oh, that was not me driving. I got possessed by some kind of off-roading spirit and they just took over because that was not me. So that was like the one time that like I knew that was all instinct. That wasn't me getting in my head or that was all instinct.
I think you need to dig that video out and share it on Instagram.
I'll find it.
Yeah, I want to see it. That sounds awesome.
And it's really cool because I had like a crazy tall stinger. So they're filming my face. So I know it was me. So they're filming my face with the GoPro staring at me. And then they got the outside thing. And I'm just going, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, high fives. That was good.
Yeah, damn, girl.
What about you? Other than the Trail 11 where you had to like throttle out, like where's your instinct take over?
I have nothing as crazy as that, to be honest with you.
Girl, you can't be asking these questions and come unprepared.
Oh, my daughter's coming home from work. No, I feel like I have a lot of stories. I feel like though mine are more like growing pains in a sense, like where I go to do something and like Jared's like, no, you can't do that. He's the king of that. Guys are gonna realize that. And I'm like, oh, I think I can. So I'll go and ask somebody else, like Kyle, can I do this? And he'll be like, yeah, I'll spot you. I'm like, okay, JR, can you get the door, please? Haley's there. Sorry, guys. I don't know why it's locked, but I would have to say on Roush Creek's playground is probably my favorite. She's on this side. Favorite spot to go to see where I can push. And there was this. I think they changed it. I think they change it every year, but like right across from the office. Not the video I sent you about my skid plates in our last discussion, if I should use my, this was like, that one's here, this spot was here. And I watched somebody go over it and I wanted to do it, but everyone said I couldn't. So finally, when I got my lift and I still had my stock tires, I said, I think I can do that now. But everyone said you can't. So I have video in all angles too, because I think everyone was waiting for me to either chicken out or just do something incredibly stupid. But
she's gonna roll. Come here, I got it.
yeah, exactly. But she went like straight up. We got to the top. If you ever see my Instagram photo and we're in the blue shirt, I'm like, like this, you know?
Yeah.
that was that moment. But the scary
That's
part was
it.
actually coming down because there was a huge drop and there was this huge rock coming out. So like I had to go really slow. But once I got down, I got all excited, right? And I forgot about my tail end. So I went down a little too fast. But that's how I smashed my tailpipe, actually. But I got the
You got
AWE
it.
exhaust now, you know. But yeah, I mean, I could list like even Crawler's Ridge. My first time at Crawler's Ridge, I was the first one up. I've never seen anybody go up it. We went there, and I was with my brother-in-law, and he's like, "Sure, if you want to do it, go ahead. You go first. Beat your Jeep up." I said, "Okay, I will." And that video on our intro, that was from that. When you see that was stock tires. You know, just had my lift. Actually, the same day. As soon as I got my lift, it was like, okay, I'm a total badass. And I'm like doing everything.
We're going to Roush. Go.
Yeah, it was fun. But somebody has a question for you. I would like Alicia, and I hope I'm saying it wrong, Alessia or Alicia. I would like to know how the Baja Pro X tires are doing for Heather. I'm interested in getting the tires for my Jeep next in 43s.
Okay. So first thing I'm going to ask, one, are you trying to daily this tire? Because they are not DOT approved. Didn't matter to me. They're not DOT approved. So
That's good to say, though.
Yeah, so they're not meant for the road. And it was funny. I was actually hanging out with the guys from Mickey Thompson at a show, and they're like, "We're curious, how many miles you got on those tires so far?" And I was like, "Oh, like 1,000." And they're like, "Okay, good to know," because they're not meant for the concrete. They literally, I used
He
to
doesn't daily.
work.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I used to daily it to work, and you could smell the tires. If you're not dailying, this is going to be more of a trailer like princess. Then yes, they are incredible. They are amazing. I absolutely love them. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had them for 2.5 years so far. They have held up really well because I've been north of Roush. I've been up in Massachusetts, and they hold up really well there. I've been down to Tennessee in the mud, and that's like soap clay mud. It's horrible mud. They performed amazingly well there. They performed so great in the Red Rocks and the Dry Rock out in Moab. They are an amazing tire. Absolutely love them. They are very soft. I will say that. They're very soft. So they literally might take like a little bit to warm up, but they will grab anything. They will grab onto anything. So I absolutely adore them. The only reason I would think about going to the Baja Pro X's, the instead of the Pro XS, that's what it is. I have the Pro X now. The Pro XS is their DOT approved tire that has a slight radial in it. So it's also a stiffer compound, so it doesn't melt as quick as the Baja Pro X does. When I say melt, I mean if you go over like 35 miles an hour, they get soft and chunks start to come off because they're not meant for that. And they perform well on and off road as well.
Thanks for explaining, because I didn't know that, but thank you.
I'll tell you the differences. They're a great tire as well. The difference between them might be performance based. I am not 100% sure, but there's definitely a difference in price between $200 per tire as well. So factor that in. Like, do you maybe want to sometimes drive it on the road? It also depends on where you live. Sometimes they just don't look. But I think that the Baja Pro X is an amazing tire. That's why I stuck with it so long. Otherwise, I would have kicked it to the curb. I literally walk up stuff that other people struggle on, which is super fun for me, but it doesn't give me badass content. So I'll say that. It's just like, they're like, oh yeah, look, there goes Heather. And I'm like, they call them cheater tires, but life is a breeze on 43s. Those things.
Oh, what do you call lockers? No, I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing. And by the way, Mickey Thompson, I am sending you a bill for a sponsorship since you just sponsored our show. We gave you a free commercial.
They'll love it.
Yeah. I really
But that was a great question, though. I do love those tires. There are things that I would give and take about them. I would love to daily Rogue again. That would be great. But I'm not, upset about it because the performance off-road is very, very much so worth it. But that's all I have to say on this one. They're great.
Okay. Keep the questions coming.
Yeah, I like it. I like the questions.
Okay, so let's discuss something. What do we think? And if you guys have ideas, shout them out. But we have some shows pre-planned already. But we do not have next shows pre-planned. which I will be at the Great Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion, and you will be at the Great American Crawl.
Oh, sorry, I got something in my eye.
Oh, I thought you were like, oh, crap.
No, I got something in my eye. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I wasn't sure, like, how you wanted to swing that. Like, because Thursday you'll be at the Great, like, are you going to be traveling or are you going to be there?
I think I'll be traveling. I have to double check the dates too. I have to double check and make sure that is that week. But
Okay.
either way, we'll plan it out. We'll figure it out. I mean, it would be really cool if like we could do it from Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion. That would be really cool too.
Well, I'll be there, so that's where it's going to be. Yeah, I mean,
Oh, that's
like
right. We're only doing every other week right now.
Yep. So every other week, that's where it puts us.
Yeah. I mean, we could just do it next week.
Maybe we should just do it next week because that might be hard.
We could just do it next week. Guess what, guys? This just went from bi-weekly to every week in 2 seconds. That's how quick things change around here.
Oh my gosh, for sure. Okay, I have another question for you.
Oh, cool. I like the cards. I'm going to come up with 1,000,000 questions for you now next week.
Well, you don't want to know my answer on this one. But okay,
Oh, no.
So some people say send it and some people don't. What's your debate on that? When do you send it and when do you don't?
So there's like a carpenter rule that says like cut twice, measure twice, cut once, right? So I always like, it doesn't really analogize well with it, but I try to crawl it as much as I can, at least twice as much as I want to send it. So it also depends on your terrain. So like for some areas, like I know I'm not very familiar with West Coast. The furthest I've been is Utah, but out there, I consider that West Coast because it's like so far from us. You don't really have to send much because your tires just grip because the terrain is applicable to that. Like the terrain is like wheeling on sandpaper. It's amazing. Out here, I toss it up. Like I'll give it a couple of crawls and then you'll see me get really frustrated with Brett and I'll go, can I just send it? Can I just send it and get it over? If I don't feel like there's going to be immense damage to my Jeep, I will definitely just go, let's send it. If I've been on it 1,000,000 times and I know the trail, I'll send it. If it's something like jotters, so when we were out for the crawl, for the Great American Crawl with jotters, I literally think I tried that attempt 16 times. At one point, I backed out and said, someone else go. I don't want to waste people's time. And Ari, Riot of the Rubicon.
She's actually on here, by the way. She said the Great American Crawl is that weekend, but go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So yeah, it is. So she was the one who goes, no, take your time. We're all here to have fun. Go for it. And I think it was literally the one time after she said that, and I got it up. So if it's a dangerous, precarious situation where you have to crawl and it's nerve-wracking, crawl as often as you can because you don't want to speed out of control and have that just shoot over and roll like some people. Or hit a tree or like land on your side. You don't want to flop because you sent it in some position you haven't. I think probably jotters when we were just out there was the longest that I've attempted to try something before I actually ended up just like really just hitting it and committing and sending to it. If it's something like a long, slow crawl that you know like you need to do, then that's another thing. But I just try to like consider the safety options, consider the terrain, and consider your build, what your build's capable of. Because there's some spots that I could crawl where you would send it to make it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of factors. That's why off-roading is so cool because it's
like that hill that I just told you about. Like at the top, I have to send it to make it across. Otherwise, I'll get turtled.
Yeah, exactly. So like you know now when you go back, okay, I can crawl this, but I just need a little to get up over that side.
Top. Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't mean send it until you're rev limiting and you hear you going, and no, like sometimes send it is just give it some gas and then there you go and you got it.
Here's the other thing with a little bit of sending it, okay? When you're turtled and people are jumping up and down on your rig, okay?
That's fun.
Yeah, but they're like, give it some, and your wheels are literally just spinning like, but then they want to yell at you because it gets dangerous. Like, you see them, like, what is the safety standard on that?
The whole reason why you do that is because you're hoping, like, let's just say you're centered and you're turtled. Like, it's not like when we talked about it being on my rock rail. If you're centered and you're turtled, you're hoping that one of the wheels, as they're hopping up and down, like you're hoping like the back wheel will catch and you'll come up, or the front wheel will come and you'll get traction. So it's safe because they trust you to not go 80 miles an hour after you've gone through and chuck them out into like the next trail. So you've got to like, again, send it and listen to your spotters. And then once you catch, just roll out and then control it. Don't just be like, yes, and go. But
See,
the whole reason why they hop.
I think my exhaust makes people think I'm hitting my gas harder than I am, or my throttle.
Because you flattened it?
No,
Well,
like
I
when you
blew a
hit the
hole in
gas and your exhaust?
Yeah. Oh no, I blew a hole in my exhaust in Moab, and the last day we were on there, Moab Rim, it sounded like I had a V8 in that baby. It was like,
How do you wait? I've never heard how do you blow a freaking hole in an exhaust? Where? Like the muffler?
So I must have no, like further up in one of the lines. I must have
Okay, the mid pipe.
just like constantly, it must be an area that keeps getting caught up, and I just keep weakening it, and then I must have just like from the pressure and from the exhaust is hot and it's moist, so it'll cause rust in the area. So it must have just blown open in that spot. So I need to like repair that. But I forgot on the last trip when we went on the crawl, I was like, oh, I never fixed that hole in the exhaust. So where it went, I started up the Jeep, and some guys looked at me and I was like, it's a hole in the exhaust. I don't have a nice engine.
Okay.
It's a Pentastar. Get out of here.
All right. I have a funny story for you on
Go.
exhaust. Okay, when I was in high school, now y'all are gonna get a treat right here. Okay. I had a Geostorm and I loved that Geostorm. It was only a 4-cylinder, it was manual. It's the first car I bought. I literally had to learn how to drive manual for it. I bought it before I even had a license. Okay. And
I like
that
the
thing,
Geostorm, though. It's cute.
oh, they were fast and we had a lot of fun with it, but I wanted an exhaust, right? So my ex-boyfriend at the time, I said, I want an exhaust. He said $300. I'm like, great, there you go. Put it on. He put it on while I was at work, right? And I'm driving around with this very loud car thinking I have this great exhaust. I get pulled over by a cop and he's like, yeah, the decimals are too high. You know, you got to fix that. You have 10 days. So of course I take it to my dad and I'm like, Dad, I need my exhaust fixed. It's too loud. He crawls under my car and he's like, who worked on your car? I was like, my ex. He goes, all he did was take your muffler off. So you're driving around without a muffler.
Wait, were you dating him when he did this, or was he your ex at that point?
Well, no.
Maybe he was trying to get back at you. He's like, yeah, I upgraded your exhaust. Yeet.
Yeah, no, he was just one of those like swindlers. Like he actually like
That's
robbed my
amazing.
car, then my whole stereo system.
I mean, I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Well, no,
but now that
here's
you're
the
working
thing.
on your own car, that'll never happen to you again.
Heck no, that's why I should have crawled up under there and said, show me this exhaust. You know, like it's my own fault.
Facts.
So I did threaten his life.
But you wouldn't know what you're looking at, and you'd be like, yeah, that looks great. And he's like, good, I just shoved a banana in there. Like, he wouldn't know. Oh, that's funny. No, that's where I learned most of the stuff is like on my own little first cars, where I learned most of my stuff, like brakes and spark plugs and things like that. So it doesn't matter the car. It doesn't matter the level. We're going to help you guys through all of it.
Okay. So are we in agreement that next Thursday is going to be our next episode, episode 2? We'll have it planned out with the topic. But till then, remember our JeepHer challenge. That's going to start next week. So we'll have your first JeepHer challenge. We'll
announce that next week for you guys.
Yeah. And then, we're super excited. Till then, be sure to like, follow, comment, get involved. Thank you so much, Gretchen. She said she loves the idea of this podcast. And really, that's why we're having it. Like we do too. Like I'm so excited to see, Heather hates when I say this, but I'm going to say it anyway, the seasoned queen over here and like little me newbie, learning how to use a wrench.
We're both newbies. We're still in different stages of learning. I'm not a seasoned queen by far.
To me, I'm just saying whatever. But that's how it is for us all. So we're gonna introduce you to some companies maybe we like, some testimonials of ladies who why they got in the Jeepers that just really kind of like touched our heart. We're gonna show you how-tos, challenge you, reward you, and really just get us all together, just talking, asking questions, and having a safe place that we can just be a bunch of women who love off-roading and really just want to encourage each other, have fun, and grow through it. I mean, and build confidence, get out of your comfort zone. I mean,
we're going to be like the Planet Fitness of podcasts. There's no judgments here. You guys can come with anything.
And in the future, we're gonna have a wheeling event next year.
Yeah. Oh yeah, come out with us. That's gonna be a blast. That's gonna be
a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh heck yeah, I will be.
Heather will be leading all the red trails.
I'm gonna take the green trails, and Tara's gonna get a winch, and she's gonna lead the red trails. I'm gonna take a break, and I'm gonna chill with my lemonade in the parking lot and talk to everybody.
You do remember what happened when I led the trail at the Great American Crawl, right? We lost 2 people, and the one broke their windshield out.
Not only that, you went on the green trails if like you were like new and you wanted to just try out off-roading, or maybe you're not ready for blues yet. And Tara comes in and she's like, "Yeah, we got body damage." And I'm like, "What? You guys would have just?" She's like, "Yeah, 2 of us got body damage." I was like, "You guys had a crazier day than we did."
Well, that was my first body damage actually, because I was just, I don't know, I wanted to do something.
Girl, I'm proud of you. That was awesome. You were so excited.
Actually, I got stuck too. Sadie had to recover me off the spot that I tried to come down this last week. Actually, I seen it in the video, our intro video. You're going up it.
Yeah, I tried to put us both going up the same thing when we did the intro video.
You're over a little further than me, though. I had to literally hug the stinking
Once you get lockers, we'll get you over there. The only thing is, every time I've taken that spot, I hit my head on the cage, and I always forget to put my helmet on when I go to that spot because it knocks you. When I get to that spot, I always go over that spot, but I knock my head on my cage.
Oh, your cage. Yeah, that's something else I need too.
So I have my helmet, but I never put it on for that spot, knowing I need it for that spot because I hit my belly pan so hard. Like if you watch when I hit up, I slam down, and that's when it like rocks me. So if I were to wear my straps and put a helmet on, I would totally be fine. This is again our safety podcast. We'll go over all of this.
Yes, I completely agree. But
we'll discuss all of that.
Anyway, Elisa said she's excited for more podcasts. Thanks for putting this together. We're so happy you joined us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Great. You guys are like one of the originals. In fact, every single person that commented, I will message you. I want your address. You're getting JeepHer stickers.
Yay.
Yes. And then one person will win the JeepHer swag pack. So
is it going to be like a random lottery? I'm excited.
Yeah, it's each person that commented. I'm going to put it in the thing. Maybe have one of the kids pull a number, And,
oh my God, let's go live.
Oh, yes, we should. That's exciting. Yes. Yay. If you guys are on Instagram, you need to get on Instagram because that's where we do everything.
We do a lot of our stuff on Instagram.
Made me do this on Facebook, and I'm like, Facebook. Why Facebook? But, it's not that bad, actually. This is pretty cool.
No, it's great because we can both stream together, and it's not like we're cutting out all the time.
I know. Instagram's terrible with it, and it's really, pixelated. Yeah. And next time, I'll have a better, lighting and video thing, because apparently my phone is not, working with my computer because I have to update all this. I'm a terrible freaking computer.
In a year from now, when we come back to this, we'll be like, does anybody remember our first podcast? Oh, my goodness.
Okay, do you know what JR just texted me? You need to send Heather a JeepHer t-shirt. I know. With the
I sent her my address. I mean, I don't know.
She did. I just got to get to the post office.
I only sent it to her yesterday.
Yes. And I've been off work since Tuesday. But no, you know what I've been doing though? I've been
drive it out to me.
I am Paul's saying, yeah, blame Insta. Their rules I'm streaming. Yes, I agree. Yes, but really, do you know I am in the process of editing my Adams drive shaft installation video, and I have 78 segments to go through.
So
that's what I've been working on for Yeah, well, no,
I took our intro video.
But I just can't stop laughing at myself, the hammer one, and then there's these other parts, and I'm like,
let me tell it to you like this. In everything that I do with editing, no one's going to know what you don't put in.
Oh, I put it in the bloopers. They're my favorite parts. When I look the freaking weirdest or say, actually, the ones I don't put in is when I yell at JR.
I tried to put one of you with the Loctite when you were talking about the Black Hawk and the Loctite.
I sent that to you as a joke. Yes. Yes.
I
I'm
was gonna
like,
put it in there. It was just too. It was too vertical. Like if it went horizontal, you were like so close to the camera. It was like just your eyes and the Loctite, and you were like red tight. He's like
well,
Loctite, and
yeah.
you're like Loctite.
Well, they sent like these 3 different like ingredients,
Yeah,
like
there's
you're
like three.
cooking
There's a blue, a
something.
red, and a black. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, I am terrible with vocab words. Like it took me the whole year to learn the different parts of the Jeep. Like Jerry used to put me underneath the Jeep and he'd be like, "What's that?" Drive shaft. No, that's your sway bar. What's that? Transfer case. That's your axle. Like, like just
That's such a great way to learn, though. That's so
oh,
cool because you're like right there and like seeing everything and like, okay, you have somebody to quiz you. That's awesome. That's like the
and I
knowledge
did
you
it.
have to like
I
pass
did
on
it
to you
live
guys.
so everybody could really see, like,
Oh
And
my
then
gosh,
go
I
ahead.
just had a great idea. So
What is
for
it?
like one
I'm
of
gonna
the
write it down.
I'm gonna hide it. For one of the JeepHer challenges, we'll do like a Jeep anatomy, name that anatomy. Like when you're in school and they're like, this is the heart, name that.
Oh,
We
we
could
can
do
do
like
a
a Jeep
quiz,
anatomy one.
like right here.
Like that. And look, you inspired that. That's amazing. And that's how you learned. Like that's like everyone learns differently. There's like kinetic learners, there's like visual learners, auditory learners. So we're gonna try to hit every single one of you with our challenges, with our how-tos, and help you guys learn however you need best. And honestly, if there's something that you want to learn, tell us. We'll film a whole how-to video on it and show it to you guys here. And we'll teach you guys from here. Like, don't ever be intimidated that you can't do something because guess what? We're your Jeep moms. We're going to help you out. We're going to teach you. We're going to help you. And if we don't know, I'm going to do a ton of research until the next podcast so I can teach you guys everything.
And then guess what? You helped us learn. See? The
Yeah,
full circle.
exactly. We're
That's
all
what
here
it's
to
all
help
about.
each other. We're just here to create an amazing platform for you guys, your stories to be told, for you guys to learn, for us to get together, and for us to get a more dominant female presence in this off-road industry. And not just like, yeah, I'm going to do this one day. No, let's teach you how to do it today. Let's go. Let's do it.
Amen,
I
girl.
like our vibe that we've created here in the studio today.
Same, except for my lighting is so dim. But
listen, we're gonna take time. I turned off mine for today so I can have like less lighting because I have so many shadows around my jungle.
all right, guys. I feel like
I'm gonna open it up to any kind of questions you want. I don't care if it's what you want to know what we do for a living or we went to college for or our high school sweethearts. Ask us questions. We want to hear
I don't
from
want to
you
talk
guys.
about my high school sweethearts.
You married your high school sweetheart.
Actually, I met him outside of high school.
Oh, that's right. You said name. Yeah, that's right. I married my high school sweetheart. Different story.
Aww.
Either way, we want to hear about all of it because it's not just, okay, parts, work. Like this becomes a part of your life. Like it's not just a hobby. Like people classify it as a hobby, but I think it becomes more than that. These Jeepers become your family. This lifestyle.
I got something for you.
Oh, my cat just ran away.
Look at his collar.
Brett, bring Vader.
Look at his Jeep Beef collar.
Oh, is that the one you posted?
Romeo, I'm so sorry, honey. I just want to show him your collar. He goes this way.
Oh, that's awesome.
See, there's this.
Meanwhile, every time you saw this thing moving, it's because my cat was sitting here whacking at my thing. And I'm like, stop it. Oh, he looks beautiful.
So now that we are almost at an hour, I'm going to say we're closing it out. But everybody, if you have any tips, if you have any topics, if you have any questions, feel free to message us, DM us, let us know. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We are super excited. The next one is going to be more organized and exciting, but this was pretty fun too. I like the freeness of it. It's you know, but we just want to thank you. Thank you, Jeep Beef Media and Corp for sponsoring this and bringing it on, and JeepHer as well. They're like the same company, but yeah, we appreciate you guys. We're excited to wheel. We're excited to move forward with this, and thank you.
And thank you for supporting us and allowing us to do this, because if we're just talking to no one, there's no reason to do this. So
you're talking to me.
All right, Tara, I'll talk to you later. Thank you guys so much, because you don't know like how much it means to us that we're able to share things that stopped us previously, or things that we learned that can help you on your journey so much sooner. So thank you to Jeep Beef and JeepHer and to Tara for all of this. This is amazing. And thank you guys for tuning in and to wanting to listen to us.
Tracy Moore says, hi, Missouri, new Jeep owner and ready to learn. You guys are awesome.
Hi, Tracy. Tracy, follow us on Instagram. We'll follow you back. We'll help you with
Yes.
your journey. Ask questions away.
If you follow me, DM me and say, hey, it's Tracy, because I don't know about you, Heather, but sometimes I miss these follows. And
I do.
I feel like I hate it. I feel so bad when I do that, but do that.
Yeah, me too.
And
yeah, so I saw you on the podcast, and we'll
you know what?
definitely
I'm a little bit jealous of her because think
She's
about
new.
it. She is back at it is so exciting and so much fun. And like, the more you learn, the more you arm, the better choice you can make, but you're going to have fun every little step of the way. It's super exciting.
Like, you have no idea the world you're stepping into. It's about to open up, and you're just going to have limitless possibilities. It's so amazing. Yes. You're just going to have the best journey.
Yeah, I went from buying 20 pairs of shoes to 2.
I'm the same guy.
I used to buy clothes. I don't know what happened. I just buy JeepHer now.
Well, thank you guys so much. We're going to close up because Paul's up next. We can't hog all the podcast fun.
I think he's a separate account, but to say no. But still, we should probably keep it an hour. Yeah.
Either way.
All right, so y'all
will see you next week.
Next Tuesday or next Thursday. And I think, Heather, we need to end each podcast with like a fist bump.
I like it. We're going to slowly go in for it.
Peace out, JeepHers.
See you on the trails.
Peace.
Boom.